Hello, welcome back to the channel, and today I have something to talk about today. As you can see by the title, I just got done like 14 minutes ago, actually, as of right now, as of this time recording. Just got done watching The Last Dance, the first two episodes of Michael Jordan's documentary. And I wrote down some notes because I knew I would want to talk about it, and it is definitely worth talking about. Let's just get right into it. I am hyped to talk about this. It was so good. Alright, so it opens up in part one. And I'm going to be looking at my phone, by the way. I wrote down a whole bunch of notes because I knew that I would forget everything because I have the memory of about a goldfish. Maybe two. And it introduces Michael Jordan, obviously, Scottie, Rodman, and Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson is actually a very big part of this documentary, and I had no idea that he would be, but he is. And Michael was just one of the most famous guys, and he really still is today. I mean, some of the guys on the documentary, I can't remember who exactly, but his fame was compared to Babe Ruth and Muhammad Ali back then. And back then, like, people would literally give their souls to watch Babe Ruth and Muhammad Ali play their sports. Now, in 97, 98, they gave a film crew unprecedented access to all things Bulls, basically. Now, this is just so funny to me. It's just so funny. So when Michael Jordan was asked what the biggest problem would be coming into this next year for a second three-peat, he glanced at the GM, Jerry Krause's office. Now, Jerry Krause, basically, if you watch the documentary, or if you haven't watched the documentary, basically all you need to know is we all hate Jerry Krause. Jerry Krause has to be one of the worst GMs. I wouldn't even say GMs. Just one of the worst people to ever exist on planet Earth. You take one of the biggest dynasties and you want to start rebuilding after you've won a 5th championship. What are you talking about? You've got the best player in the world. You've got arguably the second best player in the world who you aren't even paying. Like, come on. And it even shows later in the documentary. He was Scottie Pippen, second in points on the Bulls, second in rebounds, second in minutes played, first in assists, first in steals, 6th on the Bulls in salary. And then one was even worse, 122nd in the NBA in salary. Come on, Jerry. Put some respect on my man Scottie's name, dog. Come on. Basically, we got introduced to Jerry Krause. Michael and Scottie, as well as some other players on the Bulls, I'm sure, did not like Jerry Krause. All right. Michael said he did not like Jerry Krause. He wanted nothing to do with him. And after the 5th championship, Jerry Krause almost gets rid of Phil Jackson. Legendary coach, Phil Jackson, man. What are you doing, Jerry? I mean, apparently there's this guy that he met up with and started hanging out with. His name was Tim Floyd. And everybody knew that's going to be Phil's replacement. Over the summer of the off season, his stepdaughter had a wedding, and Phil wasn't even invited to it. But they invited this tool, Tim Floyd. Who is Tim Floyd? Man, I could talk about Jerry Krause all day, which I probably will at some point again in this video because, man, I could just go on and on about this dude, Jerry Krause, and I just learned of his existence tonight. I had no idea this man existed on this earth before now. I'm sure Bulls fans did. I'm sure, to you Bulls fans, I am sorry, my guys, girls, whatever you may identify as, you can identify as a plant for all I care. I am sorry for Jerry Krause. Then Jerry Krause had the audacity to tell Phil Jackson, after bringing 5 championships to his name, he said, I don't care if you win 82 straight games this next season, this is your last season coaching the Chicago Bulls. The best season by any sports team ever. Ever. And you're gonna fire him the next year? Jerry! What are you doing, man? Oh, I could go on and on about this fool Jerry Krause, but we're gonna get a little more into Michael. I mean, this is about Michael Jordan, so we're gonna get into it a little more. It talks about that season and going to that 97-98 season, and then it goes back to his college years, and I mean, you have Roy Williams, a very legendary coach who was on it, and he was an assistant coach at the time, and he started talking about Michael, and he says something along the lines of, you know, he's a freshman and blah, blah, blah. But Michael comes up to him. He says, I'm the best player on the court. I'm going to show you that I'm the hardest worker here. As a freshman, he's 18, 19 years old. He's coming in saying these things, man. They don't make him like Mike anymore. I'm telling you, bro. They don't make him like Mike. But, I mean... And then it shows that college freshman season, he makes the game-winning shot as a freshman against a really good Georgetown team with Patrick Ewing on it. And I think one thing is so funny that really stood out to me is one of the Georgetown coaches was talking about that game that Michael Jordan hit that game winner. And the funny thing is now he's wearing his Georgetown coach's polo. You know, all the coaches have their polos. And it's got the Jordan logo on it. That's just that stuck out to me. That was so crazy to me. Because this man hit a game-winning shot on their team's heads, on their team's dome pieces. And now they wear his logo on their shirts. That's crazy, bro. Come on. Think about that. But, I mean, anyways, it's just, I mean, it showed... In that final game, it was like the Superdome or whatever. It was in Louisiana. And that man had it packed. That man had it packed to the brim. To the very top. You had to use binoculars. You had to use 4 different binoculars stacked on top of each other to watch the game. But people wanted to see Mike play, man. People wanted to watch Mike play the game of basketball in college. That is insane. Going into that game, Michael says in one of the interviews, he says, "Man, I had this really good Georgetown team. We're facing Patrick Ewing, one of the biggest stages of the world. I don't have time to be nervous." He got that mindset at 19 years old. And then it shows some more college highlights, and there was one where Michael jumps to get a block and he hits his head on the backboard. He's got to get ice on his head. Like, man, that's just so crazy to me. Because, like, obviously you see guys nowadays, but, like, that was the 80s. That was the early 80s. You didn't see guys like that unless it was a 7'1" Wilt Chamberlain with a 44-inch vertical, but that's for another time. Michael wanted to stay all 4 years and win 4 championships for UNC. He wanted to do that, but then his coach, his sophomore year, said, "Man, you got to go to the draft. Like, you are too good. You run too much of a risk. You've got to go to the draft." So he declares, and the Bulls have the 3rd pick. First pick is Houston. They take Hakeem Olajuwon. And as I'm watching this, I'm watching it. I'm like, who in their right mind would take anybody over Michael Jordan? And he said Hakeem Olajuwon. I was like, okay, that's fair. I see that. I can't be upset at that. Like, I don't think anybody at home was looking at that first draft pick. I'm like, man, Hakeem, bomb. You know what I'm saying? No, nobody was saying that. But then, Portland, what are you doing? The 2nd pick, and you take some dude named Sam Bowie? Is that how I heard his name pronounced? Sam Bowie? Sam Bowie? I was watching, I said, who are you? Sam who? Sam Hooey? What'd you say? I don't know who this man is. And you know what I was thinking about too, which was crazy, is what a what if situation that Portland team had. because they already had Clyde, so I understand them not wanting to take a shooting guard in Michael. But, like, imagine if Clyde gets drafted to a different team. Michael Jordan goes to the Trailblazers. Like, that's a whole different... Like, he might fall out of the league in a few years. He might not do anything. But he's taken 3rd overall by the Bulls. And, you know, his rookie year, gets Rookie of the Year, averages like 26, 6, and 5. Just an like, only 25, 5, and 5 season by a rookie besides Oscar Robertson. And he averaged a triple-double. But anyways, so he gets Rookie of the Year, obviously. And then second year, it shows him getting that foot injury. The 3rd game of the season. He gets out and he has to have surgery on it and everything. He's got to rehab it. And this man was like, yo, can I go back to college to start rehabbing it? So he does some rehabs and he starts going back on the court. He's doing 1-on-1s, then he's doing 2-on-2s, 3-on-3s, and 5-on-5. He did not say a word to the Bulls about it. He comes back and his injured calf is stronger than his uninjured calf. And the Bulls are like, what in the hell are you doing, son? What are you doing? He was like, man, I've been playing like an hour and a half of games like the last week or so, probably longer, but like the last week or so. And they are just dumbfounded, like, what are you doing, man? But then he gets rehabs. They tell him that he's 90% clear. And that there's a 10% chance that he re-injures that foot and ends his career. The owner was like, if you have a massive headache, and I give you a bottle full of pills, 9 of them could kill you, 1 couldn't, are you going to take a pill? And Michael's response, he says, depends how damn bad the headache is. This man's mentality, bro. Like I ain't taking no chances. My team's bummy. That year, they finished with 30 wins. 30! Out of 82 games, they finished with 30 wins. He's like, no, I want to go back out there. I want to win. So he goes back out there, man, on 7-minute restrictions per half. He hates it. He hates it. They keep losing. I guess they start winning a few more games here and there. But he finally tells his coach, he's like, Coach, put me in the most important 7 minutes of each half that you can think of. And there was one game in particular against the Pacers that they showed where he was in the second half, and there was 14 seconds left, and they were down 1. And Jerry Krause comes down and tells the coach his 7 minutes are up. He's done for the night. And Michael's pissed. You can see him. It shows videos of him going, like, putting his hands in his face. He is just pissed off that he has to stay out of the game. And he's going, Coach, please. Coach, come on. It's 14 damn seconds. It's 14 seconds. Please put me in. He's like, I can or I lose my job. And so it shows the game. John Paxson, their point guard, throws up a one-handed shot. They win the game. And after the game, I'm going back to Jerry slander because I can't help myself. It is too funny. It is too funny to slander Jerry Krause. They go in the locker room, and Coach locks the door to talk to his team. Jerry comes and starts knocking on the door to ask him to be let in. They don't let him in. They don't let him in. They don't let him in. And I guess that's part of it, but there's another time where they got the camera crew, and it's before one of the first games of the season. I think it was the first game of the season after they won that 5th championship. Jerry walks by Michael, and Michael goes, hey, Jerry, you gonna come do some layups with us? He said, yep. He's like, he says, oh, I'm sorry, it is too funny. It is too funny. They gotta lower the rim. My delivery is awful, but you kind of watch the documentary, and the way he just starts laughing at him. It is so funny. It was so funny. It had me laughing so hard on that couch. I could not help myself. Part 2 begins with Scottie and kind of his backstory and talking about, and this was so crazy to me because I had no idea. Scottie Pippen went to University of Central Arkansas. He started out as an equipment manager for their basketball team. That was just so crazy to me because, like, one of the best guys to ever play the small forward position started out in college as an equipment manager. That was just so crazy to me. His freshman year of college, he was 6'1", 150 pounds. To give you reference, I'm 5'10", 150 pounds. That man was skinny, but he wanted to play basketball. He had the skills, he had the mindset, he had the mentality. He just needed to get on a team. And so some scholarships fell through, and he took advantage, and he got on the team. He grew over 6 inches. I think he got up to anywhere from 6'7" to 6'9", I want to say, in college. That is insane. But he proved himself, and he gets drafted 5th overall by the Supersonics. The Supersonics trade their pick to the Bulls, and he ends up on the Bulls. And this is the part where I just feel like everybody just felt so bad for Scottie Pippen. After his rookie contract's up, he agrees to a 7-year, $18 million contract. That's not $18 million per year. That's $18 million over the course of 7 years. That is criminal. I just, like, he said that, and I couldn't believe it. And just, like, the greatest thing of all is Scottie was so humble about it. He always sent stuff to his parents. He got a house built for him with every penny that he could possibly put into that house. He got a house built for his parents. And oh my goodness, this part just made me want to bawl my eyes out. I went to his mom's house, and she's like, he sends me stuff all the time, and I think he loves me, but I know I love him. Bro, that just made me want to bawl. That was just, it's just so unfair to criminally underpay someone that talented. You know, to be honest, I think he got the justice he deserved. It then goes back to that season where he's out for the beginning of the year because of an injury he suffered in the season before at the end, and he could have very well gotten it rehabbed and it goes back to the end of last year, the year before, where he got injured at the end of that season. He could have had surgery, he could have rehabbed it, he could have been ready to play by tip-off next season. But as a little nudge to the management, more specifically Jerry Krause, he wanted his own summer. He didn't want to have his summer rehabbing for a team that didn't even want him. So he just didn't get surgery on it until almost the end of summer, and so Michael had to start that season without Scottie Pippen. And honestly, I don't think it was terrible. I think Jerry Krause is an awful human being. I think that Scottie Pippen is not even one of, the most underpaid athlete in sports history. Sports history. Not just basketball, sports history. And for him to take a stand, for him to validate himself in saying, I know I deserve more, I want to help my family out more than I already am right now, I think that was good for him. Michael was obviously pissed about it. He said in the documentary how he thought it was selfish, but like, I get it. He's got a lot of weight on the shoulders of himself, and going into that season, you know, they're expected another three-peat to go, you know, six finals. So to start the season without Scottie was really, really tough for Michael, and it even showed how his interviews became less and less energetic and enthusiastic, and everything, you could just tell that everything was just being drained out of him because of all just like Scottie drama, Jerry Krause drama, all the media saying, oh, what's going to happen with Scottie, how's this season going to go? You know, the media was just overflowing him with everything, so it took a toll on him. It goes back to that season where Michael broke his foot. He comes back, and this is a time without Scottie Pippen. comes back to a 30-win, somehow 8th seed Bulls team. Has to play against one of the greatest teams of all time. Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, Bill Walton, Dennis Johnson, Danny Ainge, Robert Parrish. All of these, 4 of them made the Hall of Fame. 4 of them are in the Hall of Fame right now. 4. Michael had to face him on his own. He's like, what, 21 years old? 22 years old at this time? And he even came in, the first game they lose by like 20, he still had 49 points! 49 of their 102! What? 102 points! Michael had 49 of them! The next day, or it was either the next day or before the next game against the Celtics, whenever that was, he went golfing with Danny Ainge, and he was not playing very well that day. He was getting pissed off. And right before he leaves the golf course, he looks at Danny Ainge, and he says, "Tell your boy DJ, Dennis Johnson, that I got something for him tomorrow night." And he proceeded to drop 63 points on his head, his dome piece. 112 points in 2 games, and they lost both, man. But yeah, guys, that's basically it. I'm sure I missed other things. I didn't really look through my notes very much. I just kind of started going on memory, but you know, all in all, you know, whether you're a LeBron fan, whether you're an MJ fan, or anybody else, whoever, this documentary, this is 2 parts of 10 that they showed tonight. This documentary is one of the greatest documentaries I have ever seen. Like there was a point where like it was the introductions and it's that song I don't remember the name. Please don't kill me in the comments. I don't remember the name. Like you just knew when that music started playing, you were already losing. Like that introductory music, you know exactly what song I'm talking about. It was just so like it wanted to make me run through a wall. Like this whole documentary, 2 parts, it's only two episodes right now, has made me want to laugh at Jerry Krause. It's made me sad for Scotty. It's made me want to run through a wall. It made me angry. It's just made me feel so many different ways. And it's just 2 parts of 10. They haven't even gotten to the bad boy Pistons yet. They haven't gotten to Isaiah, to Bill Laimbeer. Basically, this video is already way too long. I just really wanted to talk about it while it was still fresh in my head. Because I know that I'm an idiot and I was going to forget it. But I hope you guys did enjoy. This is just me wanting to put some thoughts out there on The Last Dance. I personally really, really enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think of it so far down in the comments below. Leave a comment, like, and subscribe if you want to see more. And yeah, guys, that's it for me. Peace.